Well, the one thing that I can say is that my car physically cannot go above 50 miles per hour. Otherwise, it'll stall out. I have paperwork from two separate mechanics who
All right,
worked on
Ms.
my
Porter,
car
are you able to hear us?
that I can
Yes.
Okay, this is a citation. It was issued on June 24th of this year on 56th Street there in Lee Township, Allegan County, state of Michigan. So speeding infraction on an actual 50 and a 35 was written as at 11 to 15 over. Ms. Porter, you are here on this citation to do one of three things. First is you could admit responsibility to the citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest this citation. In other words, fight the ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
contest the ticket.
All right, then the first thing I'm going to do is swear you both in. If you could raise your right hands. You swear or affirm that any testimony you would give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right. Ms. Porter, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why he issued you a citation in the first place. But then after that, you'd have the opportunity to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf. All right?
Your Honor.
And with that, deputy, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere where it makes sense, explain the issuing of this citation.
All right. So on June 24th of 2023, I was running stationary radar south of 109th Avenue on 56th Street. I looked in my rearview mirror and observed a vehicle approaching my location rather quickly. I activated my radar, and it showed that the vehicle was increasing speed from 36 miles per hour. Next reading I got was 44 miles per hour. The next reading I got was 48 miles per hour. The next reading I got was 49 miles per hour. And the final reading I got was 50 miles per hour as the vehicle was approaching me and then past the radar unit. And the vehicle continued southbound on 56th Street. The vehicle, while it was behind me, was in the operational beam of the radar. There was no vehicles between us. As the vehicle passed me, I then pulled out after the vehicle and initiated the stop.
Okay, and that's posted 35?
It is posted 35 in all four directions from 109th Avenue on 56th Street and 109th East and West.
All right. All right, Ms. Porter, what is it you'd like to tell me?
Well, the one thing that I can say is that my car physically cannot go above 50 miles per hour. Otherwise, it'll stall out. I have paperwork from two separate mechanics who worked on my car that I can email to the court that can verify that my car physically cannot go over 50 miles per hour. Not only that, where I don't know, where the deputy was stationed at, it was coming around the bend from the stop sign. So coming around from 109th coming onto, I think 56, or maybe it's mixed around. I physically wouldn't be able to accelerate that much. I would only be able to slow down as I'm turning. Otherwise, I would have gotten into a crash because I also have bad brakes. So I wouldn't have been able to control that traction. My car physically just cannot handle 50 miles per hour. It doesn't even go on the highway.
Okay, so ma'am, what is the speed you think you were going?
I told the officer, it should be on his dash cam. I said, sir, I wasn't even going 40. He said, why are you going 50? I said, I wasn't, I was just coming around. I told him multiple times that I wasn't going 50 miles per hour. I believe I was going, I don't even want to say 30 because my foot was on the brake as I was turning around and I saw his car. And I know that the officers in this area like to pull me over from when I first moved down here, and I didn't have papers and registration. So I typically just start to slow down when I see them in the first place. So I want to say I wasn't going even 35 miles per hour, sir. I was turning around a corner. I couldn't.
Okay. Well, here's the problem. If he's saying you're going 50 and you're saying we weren't even going 35, one of you is incorrect, right? You would agree with that?
Yes, sir. I definitely would agree with that. And due to the,
all right. So And let me go. What I have to do is find that the officer has met his burden for a speeding citation. So what I'm going to do is question Deputy Jackson. So Deputy Jackson, you said that you were sitting stationary, right?
Yes,
Did you, when you visually saw a defendant's car, did you think it was going faster than posted speed limit?
I do.
And then you said it was in the operational beam of your radar and it gave you 36, 44, 48, 49, 50. Did it also tone out?
It did, with a high-pitched audio tone.
And that audio tone you think was consistent with the numbers you were seeing?
Yes.
How is it you know your radar was in proper working order that day?
I calibrated at the beginning of my shift independently with my certified calibrated speedometer on my patrol vehicle.
And had it given you a problem before shift started, what would you have done as far as writing tickets with that radar that day?
I wouldn't have wrote speeding tickets.
What if it worked in the beginning of shift, you wrote tickets all day, do you check it at the end of your shift as well?
I do.
If there was a problem at the end of the shift, what would you have done with the tickets you issued that day?
Voided the tickets.
All right. So, ma'am, essentially what he's saying is there's three different things that are happening here. One is he's visually observing your speed. Now, we don't let the officers just sort of guess how fast you're going, but road officers probably are pretty accurate at guessing speed. He's saying he's looking at your car, it's going faster than 35. Then what he's doing is hitting you with his radar that he checks against an independently calibrated speedometer before and after the day's shift. That radar is giving him two things. One is readings that you're accelerating, hit a top speed of 50 as you're approaching his vehicle. But two, it also toned out. If that tone doesn't match the numbers he's seeing, he knows something's wrong. So it's three different things are confirming here that you're going at least that fast. So in terms of informal hearing, well, your argument that your car can't go 50, to tell you the truth, is just a poor argument. Then your automobile isn't fit for the roadway. But
I have a 93 Grand Marquis Mercury. I have two separate, well, one's a licensed mechanic, one is not a licensed mechanic, but I have two separate mechanics that can attest to the fact that if my car hits 50 miles per hour, it will simply stall out. That is just the honest to God truth. It is a 1993 Grand Marquis Mercury. The underside of it
okay,
is—
but ma'am, what that means is I would have to take your car. I would have to say that's not fit to drive on the roads. Your car's not safe, and you wouldn't have a car anymore. If you want to do that instead of a speeding ticket, we can. I just find that very incredible.
The brakes are out on my car right now, so my car is unmovable. I cannot drive it. So I do not have a car. So whether you take it or not, it's not, I don't care about it. But what I do care about is getting a false speeding ticket because of an officer that I had previous personal encounters with. That's what I care about. I do care about the fact that the officer stated that I was the only car on that road, and I was not the only car on that road. That was the Pullman Pride Day. Multiple people were leaving the Pullman Pride event at the time that I was leaving the Pullman Pride event as a vendor. So I was not the on that road. It doesn't.
So, ma'am, I need you to pay attention to this part. I would find you responsible on the speeding citation as far as informal hearing goes. What that means is you do have a right to, within 7 days of today's date, say, I don't agree with what just happened there. I wish to appeal this for formal hearing, but you must do that within 7 days of today's date, and you must do that formally in writing. That will give you a formal hearing in front of the district court judges with the prosecutor's office. The other thing I would advise you is, you telling me about these mechanical issues does count as testimony, but it would certainly be a lot stronger if you either produce those records you said you could produce and or have them testify as witnesses during your formal hearing. All right, ma'am? Do you understand your rights on appeal?
I can email them right now. I can email them right now.
This is the time for hearing. You should have done that ahead of time.
How can I email an informal hearing? I don't understand. I don't understand.
I can't give you legal advice, ma'am, but people send in evidence all the time. It goes in the ticket jacket, and I review it during their hearing or before their hearing. But you did not do that. But you would have an opportunity to do that at formal hearing. Do you understand your rights on appeal?
The officer sent in evidence, or did he only send in his testimony? Because it sounds like that the officer is only being believed in based on the fact that he is an officer of the court and not because he sent in any visual evidence that stated that I was the only.
Ma'am, I articulated very thoroughly why it is I found the argument credible, the officer's testimony. All right. What I need to know, ma'am, is do you understand your rights on appeal?
I understand my rights on appeal and that you
All
are
right.
lying. That's fine. And I am going to appeal right now. I need an email
All right.
address.
Thank you.